So welcome back. So in our Selenium with Python series, today we will be seeing how to automate the web table, or we can say the web grid. So first let's understand how exactly a web table looks like. Okay, so for this I have a demo web table. So here is what the table looks like for any browser application. So if you see, it has like the rows and then the columns, and each cell represents the data. Okay, so based on the row column data we can identify and then fetch the values. Now, few of the usage, why do we use this web table on our browser applications? So there are few usages, like one is where you can keep the summary report. So let's say that you have five profile details are there and you want to see how many profiles are added to your application. You can see as a list view, or let's say that you want to get some of the what do you call summary, like let's say if you're dealing with a booking website actually, where you want to fetch few of the flight details of from a source to destination, and you choose few of the filter criterias in that, and then you will see the flight timings with the ticket availability and all those things. So these are the main areas where you will be finding the web tables, and pretty much all web tables are similar. It is having the row and then the columns. And here there is one more peculiar behavior with the tables, is the header part actually. Not all the tables you will be getting the header, and so it's not a big deal actually. Let me show you that how exactly a t header or a header looks like. So if you see here, this is basically the table, and the table always starts with a element tag, that is table, and then there will be some kind of id or any other attributes to identify that element. And then there will be two sections under this. One is you will see t head, that represents the header part of your table, and this contains the rows like tr, and then this tr will be having few of the header cells actually, I can say. So th is the cell actually. So the same concept, T body will be the actual data, and this data will have multiple rows, and each row will be having TD. So like we have the here TH, the same thing we have TD. So that this is pretty much the exact structure of a web table. Okay, now let's see a few of the scenarios that we can automate with this web table actually. So, and the data which we were talking, this data can be like a text, or it can have different browser elements inside that cell itself. So let's say this particular cell can have a checkbox, can have a radio button, can have a text, even it can have some kind of link as well to click on that. So buttons, links, anything we can have. Sometimes even it can contain a drop down as well. So we have to identify those elements inside this cell, and then we have to perform the operation. So today we will be seeing few of the scenarios for by using Selenium with Python. So we will be basically automating these scenarios. Okay, so let's first get into the action, and let's see that how we can automate a basic table actually by using Selenium with Python. So for this, let's move to the PyCharm, and here let me first create a basic structure. So what I will be doing, I will be copy pasting from my existing code base, and here under this elements package, let me create a new file, and I will give test underscore web table, some name I'm giving. Okay, webtable.py, and we are using the pytest as our unit testing framework, right? So what I will do first thing is that let me copy the url, and then I will be putting here so that it will navigate to that url when it launches. And then let me just move this one to web table. Okay, and then let me remove this one. Fine. Okay, so this is my basic code, right, which we were keep on using from our previous sessions. Okay, now first let's try to identify the table element. So what I will do, driver dot find element by id. So there is a id already there for this particular table, and if you see, the table is table 01. Okay, so I will just say table 01. Fine, so my table identification is done. Now from this table I want to identify the header part actually. So what I can do here, I will say header, equal to, I will say table dot, so table is an element as well, right? So instead of driver, even I can use this table element. So find by element, and if you see, because I want to get the headers each cell, okay, so these are nothing but the t head. You can see these are all t head. So by tag name I can use that. So find by element tag name, and here I will say th, okay. And because if you see there are multiple th elements are there, so instead of find element I will be using find elements, okay. Now this particular header part I will be looping around, okay. So today we are going to see even how we can utilize the for loop as well in Python. So what I will do here, I'll put for, and I will take some header elements, okay, from there in header I will say, and then colon, and I will try to print this one. So print, and I will say header element, which I individual elements dot text. Okay, if I put this one, then I will be getting all the header part of this particular th tag. Okay, fine. Now let me go here, and then I will just say driver dot quit. Okay, let's see the basic structure of this. Okay, fine. Okay, so now let me run this code. So pytest and then hyphen sv, and I will go to src elements, and I will say test underscore wavetable dot py. Okay. Okay, as you can see, it runs so fast, and you here you can see it given all the elements text actually, except this first one, because this don't have any particular text to fetch it, so it become null actually. So that's why if you see there is a blank here, and then all the three columns it printed out. Okay, so this is th actually, which is coming from your t header. Now the same way, what I can do, I can do another one. So let me just keep this one as commented, and here I'll get the all other cells. So I will say cells equal to, and here I will say table dot, I will try to identify this one in a different way, this one. Now in this way, if you see, there is a t body. If you see after t head there is a t body, right? So what I can do here, table dot find element by tag name by, and then I will say tag name, I will say t body. Okay, and here I will say like this body. Okay, and then under this I will put cells, because this body will be having all the cells, right? So body dot find element by tag name, and I will say td. Okay, now this what this will do. So now let's see the hierarchy. First I am identifying the table. From table I am getting the body. So from table, if I am getting the body, then I will be getting this one. You can see the highlighted portion. From here I am trying to get all the td, that is the cells. I am not going to get the trs, I am getting the td. So now you have to go here, and then here I'll just put like this cells, and this is my individual cell, and instead of this one I will try to get the cell dot text. Okay, now let's run this one again. So it is again simple actually. Let me reiterate that. First I'm getting all the cells, those are with the tag name td from the t body, and then I'm printing them by using dot text. Okay, so now let's run the same file. Okay, so let's see what is the problem here. Okay, you know what? It has to be S actually. Then only I can loop it. Let me close this browser and then rerun it again. Okay, so as you can see, it printed. Okay, this is my third column. If you go bit up, oops, yeah, you can see this is my second row, this is my first row. And if I open the application, it is like this. Okay, performance coded UI QC ALM are the third rows, which you got it here. Okay, so like this you will be printing. So these are the basic structure or simple way of fetching the data. But let's move ahead, a step ahead, to see what else we can do with this. Okay, so there are situations where I want to, so let's say that in CRUD operation, like let's say if you're adding, so CRUD means create and then you read that and then update or delete something. So let's say you have a web table where you have options to select a particular row, where it will be selecting the entire row, and then here there will be a delete button where you will be deleting that. Okay, so you are verifying that delete. So let's say before you had three rows, and then after you will delete, make sure that you will be having only two rows. So for this, the basic concept is that you first you need to get the the row count. Once you get the row count, perform the delete operation and verify that the count reduce it to -1 actually. So the same concept we will try to mock it up. So first we will try to see how many rows are there, then we will try to select a particular checkbox. But before to that, let's move ahead, and I'm commenting this one at this moment, and there is a multi-line comment in Python actually. So for this, what you need to do, you need to put three double quotes actually. So that is your multi-line. Now to end that, here you can come back and you can put 3. So it means that you can do a multi-line comment. Okay, so after t body, I told you the tr is basically under the t body. So what I will do here, I will say rows equal to, and here I will put body dot find elements. Actually this time find elements by tag name what, rows, right? Because I want to count. See, you can see first row, second row, third row, right? These three rows I want to count. See, basically this is a small demo site, so I know how many rows are there, but in reality you might not be knowing how many rows are there. So for this you need to get it at the runtime actually. So there you need to specify like this, tr actually. So from body, how many elements are there with the tr. Now to count that, now here what I can do, print, and I will say rows dot, and there is a method actually, len method is there, where I can pass this rows actually. Okay, so now let's see this one, and for this normally you need to again change it to the str so that it will convert and then print it, or else we can leave as it is. Let's see if it is printing or not. Okay, so let me just print the same thing. Okay, as you can see here, it is giving no total number of rows is 3 actually. So it means that after the body, on the body you have first row, second row, third row. So that is the way you can do that. So initially you need to keep this length of rows into a variable, okay, at the beginning. Now after you do delete, if you are doing an addition of an element, then you need to make sure that this length should increase to 1. If you're deleting some entry in real time, you can make sure that it should be -1. So that is the way you can validate. You can count the rows and you can assort it. Fine. Okay. So now let's recreate the second scenario which we were talking. So let's say that uh, for an instance, let's say that delete a particular row where the data is having TFS. Okay. So I want to delete a particular row where one of the data is having TFS. So first we need to iterate among these particular rows and columns. Okay, this is again a next step on this. So where I need to first fetch each cell of that, then verify if that cell is containing a text of TFS, and then if it is TFS, go to the first column and then click on that. Okay, if you have a delete button on your real-time application, you can click on that as well. So that is the scenario. But at this moment, let's try to recreate the scenario where I have to iterate through the rows, and where it is matching with the TFS value, then you check this checkbox. Okay, so that scenario we will see how we can perform by using Selenium Python. Fine. Okay, so the first thing is that I need to get the individual rows, and each row all the columns I need to read it. Fine. Okay, so what I will do, I need two for loops for this. One for loop is for rows and another for loop will be for columns, right? Okay, so now let's first see how we can put the row wise. So what I will do here, I'll put for I in, see, I need to continue till the number of rows, right? Means there is something called as a range method actually. So length of the number of rows actually. So here I will be putting the rows. Fine. So in this row, now once the row is iterating, now we need to find it out each row how many columns are there. So for this I will be creating another variable and equal to, so this time what I will do, each row I need to find it out. Now index wise, row index wise, so I what I can do here, rows of I can say, okay, and then dot find elements, and if you see why I'm doing, I will be letting you know. So find elements by tag name, and here I will put td. Okay, so now why I'm making td, because each row will be having some td, right? Because I have to go each rows column wise. Okay, so for this, now here what I will do, I will have another for loop actually, because this for loop will be for each column. So this will be my the entire column actually. Now these columns can have multiple rows, right? Multiple elements, right? Multiple cells. So here what I will do, again the same concept only. I will be taking this range, but instead of rows, I will make it how many columns are there in each row. Now here what I will do, here basically I need to compare that one. Now how do I compare here? Now I will put a if condition, if columns, so any data of a specific column, that is columns of j, because my second loop is j, right? Dot text. Okay, if it is equal to, or you can put as in also if your contains, if you are using. So if it is tfs, now let's say if it is tfs, what I will be doing, the scenario is if it is matching with tfs, then check this checkbox, and this is basically my first column, right? Now when it is first column, it means that the index is always 0 actually here. So what I will do here, columns of 0, what I will say, this is a checkbox, right? So I can say directly click. Okay, so if it is matching with this tfs, then click on this button. Now let's say that in real time you have a delete button as well, and that is on 0 1 2 3 4. So you can say columns of 4 dot click, you can do that to delete that, and then you can put an assert to verify whether the count is -1 or not. Okay, so that is what you need to see. Now let me do one thing after this, just to see that, because it goes very fast, right? So I will put some wait here, I'll put some 3 seconds, and then I will say driver dot quit. I think driver dot quit is already there at the end. Yes, so I'm just keeping it so that you guys can see this one, this particular click, you can see that. Okay, let's run this one. Okay, as you can see, it matches with TFS and selected that checkbox. Fine. Now in this, what you can do, you can take anything here. Like you can put, if it is QTP, delete this row. If it is Bugzilla, delete this. Because we are, everything we are making at runtime only. Like you can see, there is no hard code actually. Everything is happening on the fly only. Because we are looping each and every row, each rows, every column we are doing. Okay, in real time, another thing also, when you are converting this one into a page object model or in the tdd format, what you can do, you can take this entire stuff into a method actually, and then you can just pass this particular text. Based on this text, you can click that element so that it will be more dynamic actually. Fine. So this is one way of doing that. Now there are some other ways as well where you can directly point to a particular, like let's say that if you know exactly the rows and columns, which column and which row did data is there. So at that time you need not to fetch all these things. Okay, because every time doing a for loop will not be as efficient way, right? Because you know already what is that column you need and what is that particular row that you are looking for. At that time, we can use the Selenium's XPath actually instead of looping it. For an instance, let's say that for some reason you want an example where you want to specify the second row and the second column. What is that data is there in that you want to fetch that data, or else let's say that second row first column you want to click it. any of this scenario where you are confirmed with your row number and column number. So at that time we can use the XPath and use that to perform our operation in one line actually. For this, let me just go to this. Let's say that I want to print the value inside second row and second column. So for this, what I can do, I can even directly go with the driver dot find element. I'm not even going with the table and all those what you call hierarchical structure actually. So here what I will do, driver dot find element by XPath. Here I will be writing the XPath expression. Now double slash and I will say table. Now if you see this particular what you call web page has only one table only. How can I see? If you go to this selectors hub and then you will put table, you can see it is only giving me one matching. Let's say that in some situations where you have multiple table elements are there, what you can do, you can just put like this id equal to table 01. Now if you see, okay, there is, okay, I should be putting a hyphen sorry, single quote, and you can see. Now let's say that if you have two tables, you can even specify with this id to make it more unique. So let's say that I'm making this one, and instead of table I'm putting this one. Now after this table, what is the next expression you want to do? You want to fetch the t body, right? See, after table t body is there. I don't want to do anything on the t head because that is just for viewable purpose only. To fetch, I don't really need anything. So t body. So what I can do, see, now when I'm accessing this table, if you see, entire table is coming. But if I put a slash and I will put t body, you can see it reduces to the only body part only. Fine. Now the next thing is that second row, right? So tr, now if you put tr, again it is going to individual trs. Okay, if I put td, you can see it is okay, tr of td, right? So if you put like this, then it is going entire cell actually. Now when I am putting tr, it is going the rows, slash td, it is going the entire cell. But I don't want like this. I want a specific rows and columns. So here what I can do, I can make an index here and I will put 2, and I can even make it as like, let's see what is it giving. Tr second I'm giving. So second row of data. Now you can see it is giving me the second rows, all the cells. Now let's filter it to and narrow down to a particular cell. Now make it as 1. You can see 1 means this checkbox is coming. Now if I put 2, it is going to GUI. If I put 3, then it is going to the selenium. Let's say that I know the selenium which is on the second row and third column. I want to click this particular link. So what I can do, I can go to this one, and here directly I can print this entire stuff into here. Now this is nothing but my particular the selenium actually. And here if I put text, or else what I can do, even I can even click this particular, and if you see here, let me print first this one. Okay, print. Okay, inside this dot text, I will make it as dot text. Fine, let's see what it is printing. And this time dot sleep I'm putting inside this, and this one, and now at this moment I'm just keeping this one as commented because I don't need this one, right? So I'm keeping it 3 double quotes here I'm keeping. And here let me put another one so that it will become a multi-line comment. Fine. Oops, here. Okay, fine. So what this will do, this will open my that particular URL, and these things are just identifying. It will print how many number of rows are there, and then it will go and fetch me the selenium link text actually. Let me see that. Okay, and you can see it fetched me the name of that particular text. Even what I can do like this as well. Here let me copy this entire thing. Okay, and then I will say element dot click. Even I can do that as well if I'm sure about the rows and columns. Fine. So these are the different ways actually you can access the particular what you call grid details. And there are some more XPath expressions as well for the elements, table elements, like you can put the nth child, like let's say that a tr of nth child, second child, third child, all those things. But make sure that the expressions that you are using doesn't complicate your need actually. Means it should not suppress that, because the effort that you are putting to identify the elements should suffice your need. So that's why these are the simple ways of what you call accessing those things. So you can just go and then do with I mean try with different combinations, like the second column, third row, and then you can do that first row, first column, second row, first column, all those things you can access. Try to fetch the individual names of each column, and all those things you can deal with that. Okay, so these are the simple ways or different ways of what you call fetching a table and then automating the table elements and then perform different kind of validations. Okay, so hope this session is useful. Do share and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.